Okay, good morning, great souls. And if you have, as we get settled in, just another reminder to grab a strap or a towel. And just a short intro before we get into the movement piece, but of course you're always welcome to move around as I'm talking and people are getting settled in. Naturally, we're in the heart of the summer. Seasonally, there's light, there's heat, there's expansion, there's activity. It's cleansing. Maybe you're eating more vegetables, drinking more water, all those kind of great things that happen in the summer. But also we want to think of it's releasing, and we can increase that releasing, which we do in our yoga practices, releasing toxins, releasing stuck patterns, releasing core belief systems. We're on the psychological frontier so that we can come back to our wholeness and our wellness. And as we release, we can also come back. Where I'm very curious is staying committed to our path, to a spiritual path, to a healing path, to a wellness path. And anytime we, get curious about what takes us away from that path, because we all do it, we all have the best intentions, right? And have the diet and don't follow it. What maybe that day, maybe whatever it is, but it's very curious how we can come back and recommit. And part of this doing the class together is to form community, because that definitely, I really believe in the community and paths and practices to help us keep to our commitments and our discipline. And that feels really important. So we're going to take our strap and we're going to do our breath centering after we stretch, breathing throughout the class, but after we stretch this upper body, chest, shoulder area, which is part of the class. So I think I'm just going to surf that there on the mat and get into it. All right. Sitting comfortably, crossed leg at the ankles, rooted down through the sit bones, taking your strap. I like to go about knee to knee here. And then inhaling, and that V, So you want to lift from the belly, through the heart, through the crown. And then exhale. See, this is where it gets really interesting. And you can bring your arms behind the scapula, the back of the shoulders, the traps, and then just gently twist toward that left knee. Inhale. Exhale with the sound. HA, letting go sound. Stay with it if possible. Inhale back to center. And then from the core, twisting, but the entire spine follows along, of course. Inhale. Exhale. Letting go. Letting go of the tensions, letting go of the toxins. In any type of twist, we release toxins. It's not a big twist, but then we come back up. That victory pose. Bring the right upper arm by the ear, the left arm behind you. Lift up through that arm through the chest, really, and then bring that left arm down as much as you can. A little tricky. We're not jacking the shoulder up, we're easing it down underneath the scapula. Several breaths here. Tuning in to the right side, the doer, activator. Appreciating that part of each one of us. And a commitment to the practice. We recommit every time we practice together, every time we practice on your own as well. Inhale, victory pose. The left inner upper arm by the ear, right arm behind you as much as possible. Try to lower that scapula as you lower that right arm. Dynamic. Then I'll pause for the shoulders. Now, of course, this could be done standing as well, but it's nice to really get into this upper chest area of the body as you're moving down through the sit bones and the pelvic floor. 3 times, big exhale, maybe you're here longer. Back to the victory pose or the V pose. One more sweep, see if there's any more space there. And you can stay stable or you can gently twist toward the right knee. And then back to center. And then over to the left. There you go. And recommitting. And one more time, inhale, sweep up. And bring the strap out in front. If you want to bring the other foot in front, switch it up. You're welcome to shake it out, maybe. And take the classic, staying with the classics, the 3-part yogic breath. Okay, placing your hands on the belly, above the pubic bone. Feel the warmth there of the contact. Let the shoulders ease down. Close the eyes and let the belly expand on the next inhale. You want that Buddha belly. And then drawing the navel toward the spine on the exhale. Really get into your pelvic floor here. Your root chakra. It can be survival, can be safety. You know, we always have that opposite yin and yang to each chakra. And then he spokes off the veil. Just right now, as you breathe in and breathe out, hopefully cultivating safety, security, warmth. Connecting to your body, your breath, this moment, commitment to spiritual practices. And then bringing the hands, you can just tap second, tap third, bringing into eagle heart mudra, crossing out the thumbs, feel the warmth of the chest, the softening of the shoulders down the spine, the lengthening of the crown of the head upward, really breathing into the heart, ability to love, to give, to forgive. And of course, it's opposite, protecting, the whole thing, the unforgiving. It's not funny, it's painful. But allowing space to be here. Three breaths. And then the hands interlock gently underneath the chin throat chakra. Remember, this can get very confused. Our mind and our heart, if there's some confusion, our throat can feel that. And we want to inhale and bring those elbow tips up. On the exhale, the head goes back. Forearms reach toward one another. And then the chin comes down parallel. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale. Opening the throat, framing the face, letting the head go back. Exhale to the mouth. Wrists, forearms, and then chin parallel. Inhale again. Hear that oceanic sound. Set your intention. What you'd like to receive from the class today. And then the upper chakra, the back of the medulla oblongata, the negative pole, the positive is the spiritual eye. As you inhale, that energy is a magnet up the central channel of the spine, the Sushumna. And we draw that energy out in front to the spiritual eye. And then we receive through the crown, through the spiritual eye, light, wisdom, prana, wholeness, calmness, peace, those divine qualities. Keep breathing at your own pace, central channel. Focusing at the spiritual eye out in front of you. Notice if you see light, know that light is there and it's coming in. especially through the central channel, through the crown. And again and breathe out, and just taking these wonderful moments of conscious breathing before we get into more of the dynamic movement practices. Going back to the sanctuary within, the sanctuary of our soul, and the presence of the divine there. We're cultivating that, and many, many spiritual practices are about that. In different ways, talking about that in different ways, but all have that same intention to align with the higher self. Drawing the knees in, and we're going to shake out the legs. You've been sitting there a little while. Okay, and bring in your blanket for your knees. We'll do some kicks here. First, we're going to open the hamstrings. Okay. So getting the position of the wrists underneath the shoulders. Let's just go ahead and extend that right leg and really press forward and back. Forward and back. We're starting to open that calf muscle, especially on the right side, of course. And then we're going to take it into a lift. So we center ourselves, we lift the right leg, trying to draw that left hip back, right hip down. So we're not twerking out to the side yet. Maybe do an opposite, starting out. We want a strong core and a compassionate heart. So the more we open in yoga, the more we feel, right? And we want that strength in the core to be present to whatever's appearing with that compassionate heart. Now draw the left elbow in toward the right knee, and then extend the arm out. If this is too much, you can do cat kicks like this with both hands down. Otherwise, the opposite for balance. Starting out strong, the left elbow, right knee, or classic cat kick. Folding in on the yin phase, and then the yang, the extension out. Ha. And then planting that hand down, turning the toes under, and before we go to the other side, let's take a full yogic down dog, full body stretch. So lifting the tailbone out, dragging it out. Really commit to pressing through the base of the fingers. And then hearing the sound of the breath. Knowing that whatever quality you want to bring in, peace, calmness, radiates through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. Feel those shoulders expanding. Blood flow to the brain, maybe small circles if the feet are stable, through the head, releasing the neck. And then lower the knees down, gradually, slowly. Scoop it out to regular cat, and then cow. You can always ease back a bit too. And flow. So we'll do an extension on the inhale, a rounding, drawing in. Really feel that navel drawing in for strength. And before neutral spine, we go to the other side. Let's make those figure eights with our hips, or however you want to move. We can move circles. Times. Figure eights. What would feel good to your body right now? All right, now extending the left leg, the toes under, pressing back through that heel, and then coming forward. Just tuning into the lunar side. Feminine, witness, observer. Okay, now stabilize the weight through the hands, lift that left leg up. See how we do on this side. Does that right arm want to come forward? Palm faces inward toward the middle of the mat. And let's test it out. Do we want to bring the right elbow to the left knee and extend 3 or 4 times? Or would you like that cat kick? With the 2 hands down and the leg up. The side, just watch the hip will turn up pretty easily. That left hip, so you want to lower it down, right hip back. Breath work, balance. And when you feel complete, release. The toes under. We're going to come back to our down dog again. And this time we lift up. Letting it out. Walking the dog. See how far you want the feet. You can bring the feet closer. Classically, it's taught the hip width apart. If you want, we can lift up the heels and turn to one side. Toes facing the left, but make sure you magnetize the heart toward this, toward the belly, toward the, in that direction of the back body, the mid back, the legs active, arms active, everything's active here. Lift up. Twist, maybe Egyptian feet, toes to the right. What happens when I press into that right arm more? A little more opening through the right side. Masculine. We all have both masculine and feminine moving through every body. And then back to center. Let's keep the flow going by bringing our left knee down, turning the foot out to the side, knee down, half moon. So we're opening up, we're stretching, we're trying to stack the shoulders here. And the mudra, thumb, index finger together, individual self. In union, communion with the higher self. Yeah. Now, same type of thing. Do we want to, let's all first extend to the side. This feels lovely. Bring the chest a little bit more to the sky. And then here's our balance option again. The arm comes up. Sometimes we want to look at the floor to get stabilized and lift that leg straight out and then look forward. If you can, just slowly gaze along the floor and small circles 3 times. One direction and 3 times the opposite. Beautiful. Roll down into down half moon. Strength and courage fill my body cells. Opening and then releasing. Coming down. Take a moment, widen the knees. Just stretch out into purpose. Let the spiritual eye touch the earth. And let yourself ease down, establishing that in your soul temple, the connection to the divine within. When I read this quote from Paramahansa Yogananda, he says it so well. Anyone who has established God and goddess in his soul temple is a yogi. Anyone who has established God and goddess in his soul temple is a yogi. Open that space for the divine to flow through. And then we come back up, round the spine, scoop it out. So we went down on our left knee. Now I'm going to turn around and go on my right knee, however that works for you on your mat. The back toes are turned under. And we're stretching, stacking those shoulders, adding mudra, head to tail connected. Beautiful, practicing together. See if you want to extend that arm, really energize. Bring the chest a little bit more forward toward the sky. Okay, and then we lift the arm up, optional. You can always do Jani Shirshasana. You always make it work for you. 3 circles, 1 direction, 3 circles in the opposite. Now, last week we talked about using the strength of the affirmation, or maybe more of a prayer style. May strength and courage fill my body cells. I'm open to strength and courage filling my body cells. See what you're feeling now as you come down. Take it into an active down dog or a rest. So you decide what you need here. Maybe adding those wave-like movements. But eventually coming into a strength pose, coming into a plank, without collapsing. And let's bring down one forearm, then the other. Find your forearm plank. See if you want to bring the right foot to the outside corner of the mat. And then back. Then the left foot. And then back. And top of the knees touch. Heart opens. Keeping the core strong by pressing into the feet, even though we're going to do some easing of the joints of the shoulders. Here we are in the scapula area again. We talked a lot of psychologically the shoulds. It's whenever we think people should be doing something, maybe there's validity to it, but it doesn't usually traps us in a stuck pattern. We come back to what can we do? And, center ourselves, approach the world from that place. Let's bring our elbows by our side and do a gradual Bhujangasana Cobra here. Inhale, pulse up, shoulders down, rising up to the wings of joy as you exhale. And getting those wings of joy, the scapula cleansed out. We're going to rise up again. Inhale, maybe come up with that lion's breath. 2 or 3 times. That should gunk out. Oh, it's tricky. It is tricky. And then releasing back down, rippling back down. Stacking one hand on top of the other. Let's again, resting the spiritual eye. Establishing the God contact in our soul temple. And that's very specific in yoga, especially in Kriya Yoga. This is through the central channel of the spine. And the upper chakras where we're resting. Now up to the seat of intuition, the seat of opening to our higher self as well as the crown. Soften the shoulders. That love that's here, that's open to it. Open to that soul temple that's here. Hip width apart. We're going to bring the elbows by our side. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come back into our Bhujangasana, joyfully meeting. We'll stay this opportunity, but then flowing with the knees down to transition in an opposite, in a malasana, if you can walk your hands back into a deep squat. This may or may not work for you, so this would be a classic malasana. If that's not happening, maybe it's Baddha Konasana. Okay, so we're releasing the back, the low back after the cobra, opening the hips deeply, twisting a little bit side to side. You know, those twists are deeply cleansing. And recommitting to our practices of wholeness. Okay. Now, from here, before we do standing pose work, let's come into a Navasana because it's so good for the core, strengthening the core. If you can, first we'll start by holding the backs of the thighs, getting those knees in line with the ankles. If possible, you could challenge yourself. You want to hold on, that's fine. Within every breath lies infinite power. Let's exhale through the mouth. Tap that right foot down and then switch. Find your flow. Make sure you've done equal on each side. Squeeze and soak as we lift the heart through the crown. Big exhale. And now we can come into our transition into standing pose. So we transition with the squat. And then squat to the knees. We come in. See what you want to do. Do you want to do the classic resting at the palms of the elbows, or do you want to reach under Padahasta Asana? The main thing is we're relaxing and casting aside unnecessary mental burdens. Let it go. The art of letting it go. And even a little bit is going to create space as we rise up in our chair pose, rooting down first through the feet, strength to open to greater compassion, wisdom, peace, every divine quality you'd like to draw in. Sanctuary of your soul as you lengthen up and feel the space all around you. Whirl it, body. All right, so here we are. Just adjust this coming into our mountain. And, you know, the warrior standing poses are meant to be stronger. So we're going to do what's called a Kali Mudra, hands with the pointer finger extending out and the other fingers wrapped around. And we're going to use this to cut, we're talking about blockages, what stops us from committing to. Yeah, that's a big psychological question. It's like, what stops us from doing what we know is good for us? And there's a lot to that. We're going to step the right foot back. But what we're going to do here is cut through that resistance. So physically draw that left hip back, right hip forward. We know Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. But we're going to use Kali Mudra. We're going to reach the arms up and do that interlock of the fingers and the thumb, but that index finger. We're cutting through the darkness and cutting through. So we're going to, you know, can't feel like Kali Yuga these days, kind of going backwards, but we want to slice through this the resistance to our spiritual practice, what keeps us whole and centered. So on the exhale, you slice straight down, ha, with the HA sound. Inhale, coming up. Then we go to graze the outside of the left knee, ha. Slice through all those blockages, symbolic of those blockages, and then a little bit to the right, ha. Slicing through. Then we add our affirmation. I attune my will to the source of all power. I attune my will to the source of all power. And then from here, coming back up, and I'm going to turn on my mat here because we're going to go to a straight leg triangle. You want your block by your side. So we come from warrior one to a side stretch, opening the flow. Sometimes we need that yang energy to cut through the darkness within our own self, within what's going on in the world, to get ourselves recentered, because we know it doesn't help us to be all discombobulated. As you bring that right hand back, left side opens, and we reach deeply towards that left side. Try to keep it opening in this left hip flexor. I'm going to bring the block closer. A bit of a twist, a gentle the left corner of the abdomen to the right as that arm floats up. And mudra of the right, open palm. Energy and joy fill my body cells. If you want to go into Utthita, energy and joy fill my body cells. Swoop it around, stay with it. Opening the side body, opening the joy kosha. Coming back. If we've gone away from our spiritual temple in the upper chakras. Okay, when we come up, we sweep that arm down just enough to bend the left knee for the transition to come upright again. Sweeping up. And then taking our time, turning the toes in. Wide star pose, expansive. Take your time for the interlock or the hands on the hips. You decide. Interlock or hands on hips. As the heart lifts open, we come into a forward fold, a yin and a yang again. We're always working with those opposites. Strong legs, thighs engaged, hip bones and heel connected. Knuckles up to the sky, crown of the head toward the earth. Continuing to release those blockages. Physical blocks, mental blocks, core belief blocks. There can be a lot going on here. Or maybe just like subtle resistances. Consciously letting go. We're sliding the hands now down the sides of the legs to the outer ankles if possible. As we release, we open up to greater love, wisdom, and compassion. Maybe the wrists come underneath the shoulders. Working with those shoulders again, left fingertips face the right hand, the whole torso twists. Right arm up to the sky. Now we're going to turn the right palm in as we soften the left elbow. Legs stay where they are. Exhale. Upper body descends. Get underneath that right scapula. Inhale. Right palm faces away from you. On the exhale, it twists towards you as the left elbow bends. And again, let's do that. Inhale. Twist. And then lower. If you want to bend the knees side to side, you know, ease going, feel free. Of course, we're going to do the same deal to the other side. Right fingertips face the left hand, the whole torso twist. Have the tail connected, left palm faces away from you. Getting underneath that left scapula as the left palm turns in, the right elbow bends, the upper body relaxes down. Get into the flow of it 3 times. Shoulder release. Exhale, palm faces in. And then the left palm faces away. Elongate the spine. Okay. And then slowly lower. Excellent. Letting go, what's possible. Heel toe it in if you like. Slight bend of the knees, straight spine. Inhale, come on up. Watch the head rush. We were down from there for a while. Woo. Arms and star. And let's bring it into shaking it out a little bit before we go into the whole other side of the warrior series. You can lift the heels, you can shake, you can move with your hands, whatever feels good to you. I'm also going to get a drink of water here. Hydrate, cleanse. This is the season. Your setup of your block. This way. And we'll bring the right knee forward when you're ready. Everybody understand the Kali Mudra, the slice with the other fingers wrapped around. Okay, Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1 stance. Right hip back, left hip forward. Root down as much as you can. Same principle of Virabhadrasana 1, adding that we're really opening to our commitment. We're slicing out what takes us away from what we're working towards. So on the exhale with that HA sound straight down in front of you. Ha! Inhale. Coming up. We're going to go to blaze that outer right knee with that ha sound. With the intention. And to the left. Ha! Recommitting to our growth practices, so important. Exhale. I attune my will to the source of all power. It could be a lot of things. It could be food, it could be movement, it could be community, service, whatever recommits for you. And then we're going to rise up. And now I have to turn around for the triangle, but you find your way into your extended Trikonasana. Take your time. We're taking our time with the flow and the shoulders, a lot of shoulder release work, leg strengthening, spine strengthening. Open up that right side. Reaching over, take your time. Really engage those thighs. Sliding the hand out into the block lightly. Don't just collapse on the block. Lightly. Touch the block, stack the shoulders. Energy and joy fill my body cells. Staying in the extension phase or adding the slow circular hydration. Again, of the shoulder work. Confirming energy and joy fill my body cells. Opening to the joy kosha. Feel a line you'd like to stay in this pose. If it's time for you to flow through, when that arm comes down, you bend the knee, you track it over the second toe. Take a moment to come up and then forward. And start pose. We're not going to go forward in this one. We're gonna bring our hands and feet together. We're going to collect and gather. We're going to yield into the earth, root down. Make sure you're not over arcing or tailbone too far down. Find that right alignment for you. Draw the energy up. Remember, let's even place our hand on the back of the neck, spiritualize, send that energy out in front of you. Shoot the bow as you inhale, open to the crown, receiving a higher wisdom of the upper chakras in our soul temple, wherever the hands want to be. For you to receive the energy that's here, clearing your step patterns out and opening to the light of the divine that's here. That's all that's available. And we're going to do a balance pose now. So I don't think we've done tree in a while. Vipassana. You can use the wall. You can root down. If you can look in your windows at the tree, it's kind of nice. Get the feel of the tree. You can also remember to have the block by the instep. That's quite lovely. Looking at a point in front of you or straight out ahead at the tree, we're going to lift the right leg up and see if you want to place it on the block. Do you want to bring that foot to the upper thigh? You're probably shaking. That's how we find our balance. Okay. So affirming. Maybe we keep the hands here. Maybe we bring them up. The arms are like the branches of the tree this way. But there's a peace and a calmness at the core, at the central channel. Even things that are swaying around us. And peace. There is calmness within. If you fall out, you just tap down, recenter again, and then release. So bringing, before we go to the other side, this is a nice, we were talking about balance poses class ago, to circle 3 times in the balance pose, right? But we're doing more the classic yoga asana, vipassana tree pose. It's going to be a different story on this side, a different quality, a different energy. As we root down through our right leg. And we rise up through that left, turning the hip out to the side. You can place down your calf or your upper thigh or the block. Keep that drishti gaze, that focal point. Affirming the peace, the calmness deep within. Even if things are shaken, at the roots, shaken at the branches, or just moving around a bit, we're affirming calmness, peace, at the center of my being. Spiritual sanctuary, already calm. Already at peace. Coming back home. Getting to our practices. Help us return. Make sure that it's there more and more often as the knee comes down. And we shake it out a little, but then also return to those half circles. Half circles. There are many ways to balance. All right, let's go through a flow. Have your block by your side. Inhaling, heart, spiritual eye, ground, lengthen and grow. You can add that Kali Mudra. Good choice of back one. Inhale. Exhale, arms radiate out to the side. Inhale, scooping out. Exhale, stepping back with our 3-legged dog if possible. No, this may not be in your practice, but let's just see here. If you want to lift that right leg up,
and bend the knee out to the side. Rotate the ankle. And we're going to do a sweep through lunge, meaning before we come to our bridge, we're going to bring our knee to our chest and just bring that right foot forward any way you can. And move this way. And we're going to really do our hydration. You can be on the knee, go side to side. You can flatten that foot, go walk the hand in. Just be as this explorative. What would work for you to get that right and left hip more open? Untying those holding places. The hips are a big one. Ooh. Coming into the present moment, walking that foot out a little bit more. See if you can bring one arm down than the other. And again, you could still do the rocking, or you could be stable. And back, our mind just naturally goes to future, naturally goes to past. We come back through the breath, back through sensation in the body. Pulsation in the body. Where do you feel that pulsation in the body? We come back up here. And what we're going to do is that left knee is already bent. So we stretch back and our half split, our Ardha lower that right hip down. Beautiful stretch through the hamstring. And transitioning, of course, to the other side. So just step it back, tread it out, up and out. Draw the inner borders of the feet together. If it's in your practice to lift that left leg, go ahead. Commit to pressing to the base of the fingers. Committing, we are together to committing to our practice. So proud of everybody committing for over 2 years now as we sweep forward with the knee to the chest and then stepping this left leg forward and unthawing our hips. You can come down, you can keep that knee lifting off. See what works best for you. You know, the variations, walking the hand in, walking that foot out. You can also bring the bolster in, the forearms down. Where can you open? Where can you soften? Where can you strengthen? There's so much going on here. Back to sensation, back to pulsation in the body. Just, you know, that's a mindfulness practice, meditating where the mind you can wander into whatever lunch, whatever you're thinking of, who knows what it is. It just does that. And just, okay, all right, we're aware of it, we're watching it compassionately. We're not judging it, we're watching it. It's what it does. And we come back to this moment, back to the breath, and peel the toes back. That left foot, left hip draws down. Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. And there's so much holding. And the hamstrings, back of the knee. Letting those fears go, letting those blocks release. Committing to a spiritual practice. Something bigger is going on here. And then bend the knee. And we're going to transition. Well, the easier way probably to transition is just to take it to down dog and do something else. So let's go down dog one more time. Ripple, maybe add a extended plank and ripple back. Oh. And then stepping, walking forward, down into a squat for our transition. Any way you can. Going down. Let's do a core strengthen in Avasana before we do our back release bridge work. and strengthening work. So we did the Navasana boat pose. Within every breath is infinite power. Exhale. So if you do the 6 times. Okay, make sure you're even. And now releasing the rounded spine, low back, mid back, upper back. Press through the feet. Let the arms get wide. Let's hug those knees in. Let's give ourselves a deep relaxation of the spine. Heads going side to side. And getting ready. Maybe you'd have your block for bridge pose. Scoot up a little bit or scoot down a little bit. So we'll do some pulsing like we did last week, and we'll see if we want to sustain the bridge. Okay, so first let's get our Pilates block, or dig the sacrum into the earth at the 6 o'clock position. And then back to the 12, back to 3, and the 9, side to side. Just now, just stabilize the low back for a moment, because we're going to let that soon. Remember, that's so good for your low back. And then our arms are down by our side, our inner thighs are drawing toward one another. Sometimes you can take a strap around there. Just feel that magnetism as we lift up the hips. Like to spread the toes, rock under one shoulder, then the other. Pulse down on the exhale a little bit, let those cheeks come down a little bit, and then let the hip bones come up. Pulsing bridge. Strong still, we're keeping those legs engaged, the spine, the arms. So the awareness that's aware of our thoughts changing all the time. We come back to bring us back to our wholeness of divinity, our upper chakras. We can bring the hands, palms up. It also releases the shoulders as we soften those elbows and make a circle with the palms of our hands 3 or 4 times in each direction. So much going on here. If possible, the arms can come up overhead or down by your side as we ease down now. And letting the low back touch, seeing, depending on your back, if you have low back issues going on or some tension there, and bringing your knees together. If your low back's fine, hips okay, go into Supta Baddha Konasana. And just take it in, take it in. The full belly breathing. The awareness can bridge me back to my truth, my divinity, already whole, already free, already there. Yes, we know this and this and this is going on, of course, but we put back to the deeper truth. And rest in that, learn to rest in that. That spiritual sanctuary, religion too. All right, let's do a walking bridge. So slowly draw your inner thighs in. You can do a little bit of that shape, tension release, trauma release work. No rush. And I'm just going to grab the block, and we're going to do bridge walks. Now, if you don't have a block, you can use your hands at your low back. And then do the same setup with the feet hip width apart, large toes in slightly. Inhale, lift the hips, and see how you want to place the block. Do you want it higher? Do you want it medium? Where are you at today? At the sacrum. Okay. So we got the block support. But you're still pressing through your feet and your shoulders. You're not just collapsing on the block. Okay, you're still working the rest of the body. Left toes turn out, bridge walk. Right knee comes in. This is wonderful because it's a back bend, supported. And we slowly lower. Exhale through the mouth, knee to knee. Hold in. Let's do a couple of those on this right side. Bridge walking. Walking through the air we breathe, planting that foot, breathing down, but then the other side draws in, if possible, lower, knee to knee, sweep it, coming back up. It is a lot sometimes to hold with the hands, but it is possible if you don't hold it too long, if you don't have a block. And you don't know that by taking the block out, holding with my hands. Inner thighs engaged, and of course taking the block out. Very, very strengthening for the back and the thighs. It's the back of the head and the throat open. And to release now after this, let's think of it as drawing the right knee in, which we usually do to the shoulders, but if possible, the left leg extends. Think of it like a half baby, meaning you could stay here, or you could walk your leg up the calf, maybe use a strap, maybe bend that left knee if it's too much for the full extension. And really let go into the massaging of that ascending pole. Everything we're taking in, we're talking about what are we committing to, kind of returning to our commitments, our practices that are wholesome, that are healthy. That's very good for us. And before we go half baby to the other side, you know what's going to happen here? We're going to come into a twist. We're going to plant that right foot down. We're going to swivel the hips over to the right. The left hand eases that right knee over, back and forth. Again and again, twisting. It releases the toxins, releases the blockages. Stabilize. Opening the right arm as we brush stroke that right arm above the head and affirm our deepest truth, divine life is within me and all around me. Divine life is within me, all around me. And the practice as yoginis, we're returning again and again to that sanctuary of spirit. And thank goodness for the yogis of our past taking us through these practices, finding our path, finding what works for you as you ease on out, adjusting, folding again that right knee in. Rotating the ankle, shoulders away from the ears. And taking your time, simultaneously, shoulders plug in, arms reach above you. Once that right heel touches, stretch, stretch, stretch through the right side, right arm, right leg. And then take a mini shavasana before we go to the left. Feel the fullness of the breath naturally, just prana flow opening as it is meant to be, healthy flowing, unstuck. Lunar side now, left side, rubbing the borders of the feet together. No problem, you can bend both knees, protect your back. The left knee draws in. See if we can lift that left leg to the sky. Half baby. You can add more by hovering that right heel. Several exhales here. Again, what are we facing? What's getting in the way of our commitments? You know, again, we all do it in different times, in different forms, in different fashions. We're not going to beat ourselves up or be shameless, just to be aware. Okay. You come back. Back. Yeah. And ready. Fold in. Want that foot to swivel, hips over to the left. And that right hand helps that knee hydrate back and forth. Head's going back and forth too. Now find a place where you can sustain it as the left arm brush strokes up and over, head goes along. Affirming divine light is within me, all around me. Now let's back to mind sanctuary. That is yoga. Union. And then easing out. Our soul remembers that. Soul remembers as we fold, before we extend that leg, rotate the in 4 times. And extend the leg. Extend the arms, plug in the shoulders simultaneously. Stretch the arms overhead. Stretch through the left arm, left leg, stretch, stretch, stretch. And then the softening. 3 breaths here before we're going to full Shavasana. Coming into the central channel. So as you get set up, you know the many choices: Supta, it's up the wall, bolster underneath the knees or legs like this. If you want to release your low back through this, or legs up the wall, would be also nice for classic. Really taking it in, and then I'll guide us to come into the central channel again. That's where the yogis know the freedom is. They're not bound by the duality anymore. Again and again. We're just luxuriate in that central channel awareness. So, getting cozy, getting in the cocoon nest, so we can rest and digest. Great cleansing. Hatha yoga practice is so great for. Start tuning in to the sound of the breath. Start by, if you're not there, maybe you are, placing one hand on the belly, if possible, the other hand on the heart. Just feel that warmth of contact there. And like we started, go deep into the belly. Center of your body.
Close grip, smile, low back release. Let the earth support you. Whatever's touching the earth is getting more heavy. Less. And then breathing fully into the heart. Of course, the belly's moving as well, but we're focusing on the heart chakra. The spaciousness, the unconditional love. The benevolence, the flow. As we reconnect to our soul temple, as yogi and yoginis, moves into the upper chakras, into the sound of the oceanic sound of the throat. Noticing sensation, the mouth, the tongue, the teeth, the gums. And gently focusing at the spiritual eye. It's resting in the divine awareness, the light within. And even the eyes just softly draw, the two become one there. They go inward and gently upward to that point. Like the retinas moving upward. Open to the crown, open to that expansive awareness of wholeness. Think of the sun, the moon, the stars, that light. Or if you have a deity figure that's emanating that light, receiving it. You're in union with that light. And peace and wisdom. And just notice if there's any softening through the limbs that the arms want to do, the legs want to do. Legs there, and just tuning into other areas, maybe sensation in the palms, maybe feet there. And hands. Connected to the heart. And as always, just noticing if you'd like to stay in interiorization, Shavasana longer, you're certainly welcome to do that. If it's time for you to gently move, do so in a way that feels good to you. Maybe resting on your side, maybe not. It's so important to send healing energy to others. So just taking the time. Gifts. So many gifts of the practice to send this to. First, probably you may think of our inner circle people. But then we do want to increase to middle and the country and the nation. So if you want to rub your hands or you just want to open the palms, you can. Sometimes it's nice to generate some heat. And from the heart center of the sound, the 3-syllable sound come, offering healing to others from the heart. Inhale. Nose. Alone. And bringing the hands and namaste, acknowledging that divinity, that divine life within you, recognizing that in others. And I'll quote again from and bowing to the wisdom of the heart, your heart of Yogananda. Anyone who has established God, Goddess in his or her soul temple is a yogi. So that's what we're really doing here. It's so grateful to have practices and paths and people before us that have guided the way, and then finding out more for you, what your commitment and your practices and your paths are to keep on the right lane, so to speak. And we do veer off, but then we come back. It seems to be human here, but we come back more and more. So thank you all, and I will end the class and open it up to anyone that would like to